I talk to women literally every day. This is my job and my career, who find us somehow through podcasts or Instagram or whatever, who come to us with an absolute loss of hope. Because they have been through so many things and it doesn't seem possible to heal. It seems like, well, I guess this is just my new normal. And so, step one on that journey is to recognize that you actually really can heal. Your body is designed to function well. Your body is actually designed to heal yourself. There's no doctor on the planet that can heal you. The only thing a doctor or a nutritionist like myself can do is set you up to allow your body to do what it does best, which is heal, repair. It's what it does. We are brand new humans every 4 months because all of our cells die and become new. So step one on that journey is just choosing to recognize that even if you do feel hopeless with your health and it doesn't feel like there are any answers, that there are answers, and we just have to find the right ones.
Welcome to Linda's Corner, where we bring more hope, healing, and happiness to the world. My name is Linda Bjork, and today we're going to be talking about gut health. I'm delighted to welcome Hally Brooke. Hally is the founder and CEO of Live Nourished Coaching. She is a certified functional medicine nutrition counselor, a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, a Fox 21 fitness and nutrition expert, and a fierce industry advocate. You can reach Hally at her website, livenourishedcoaching.com, and I'll include a link in the show notes. Welcome, Hally. I'm so glad that you could join with me today.
Linda, it's such an honor to be here. Thank you for having me as a guest.
Thank you. I'm so excited that you're here. We get to talk about gut health, which is something that is so important. And many people don't realize how it affects everything else in our health and our well-being. So we're going to share some fantastic information. But before we get into all of that, is it okay if we start with your story? Why are you passionate about this?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is truly my life passion and my life mission is helping women figure out their gut health, their hormone health, their energy health. It started for me. I was a math teacher, came out of college thinking I was going to go to med school, ended up doing Teach for America for 2 years, stuck around for 9 years. And it was the most rewarding career and the hardest career I've ever done. And in the process, chronic stress and not taking care of myself, I ended up super sick. I had the weirdest collection of symptoms. I had IBS, I had gas and bloating, I had all the normal stuff, but then I also had dark circles under my eyes that had no relation to how much I'd slept. I felt like I couldn't sleep enough. I was always exhausted. Occasionally my arms would go numb. Like it felt random. I figured out what it was later. I had rashes all over. I had rashes on my eyes. I had dandruff. Like I was just kind of a mess. I ended up getting shingles at age 24. Like that never happens. That's not a thing. I was just not okay. And I went to 7 different doctors over the course of about 2 years to try to figure out what on earth is going wrong. I got tested for meningitis and like all sorts of things. And it was none of those things. And ended up kind of stumbling into functional medicine because the last doctor that I went to see was a GI specialist. And basically she told me, she goes, well, you got IBS and sounds like chicken and lettuce is really the only thing that you can kind of keep down. So I guess just eat that. And I left that office in tears thinking, I'm 26. Like this cannot be the rest of my life. What can I do? And so I stumbled into the world of functional medicine and I started learning about the microbiome and gut health and how stress affects it and leaky gut. And even though I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and I'm, like a total organic hippie nerd, turns out I still ended up with leaky gut. And so I started learning about leaky gut and SIBO, with it just small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and more or less self-diagnosed because I couldn't find any functional medicine practitioners near me at the time. Now there's a couple and I'm good friends with them. But I went through this process of learning about food and learning about my gut and healing myself. And then included in that a ton of prayer. That was a huge piece of my healing journey, was prayer and trusting the Lord in that process. And now fast forward a little bit over a decade, I'm 100% healed. I can eat everything, including gluten and dairy and all of the things. I was like gluten-free, corn-free, soy-free, dairy-free. The list of foods that I couldn't eat was way longer than the list of foods that I could. And I'm now totally healed. So that's where my journey started. And once I got healed, I talked to so many women who had a really similar story, who were saying, I don't feel well and I don't know why, and nobody can tell me why. And it seems like it might be my hormones, or it seems like it might be my gut, but nobody can figure it out. And I just said, I can. So I went back to school. I got a degree in functional medicine. I started my own practice, and here we are. But that's why I started. That's why I'm here.
Oh my gosh, I just want to cheer. So I'm on this roller coaster as I'm listening to your story and all of these horrible, frustrating symptoms and just not feeling well and that frustration of, can someone please help me? Can someone please tell me what is wrong with me? There's something that's not right. In fact, there's probably a lot of things that aren't right. And with
Hmm.
all of the tests and all of the things that you went through, they were able to eliminate a couple of scary options. And so
Hmm.
that's a benefit, but it wasn't a benefit in saying, but this is what it is.
Yeah.
And this is what we can do about it. And when you talk about going to a specialist on the gut and having someone say, well, you can't eat anything except for chicken and lettuce. So have fun with that.
Yeah.
I
Good
mean,
luck for the rest of your life.
that that is so discouraging. I would be in tears as well. That just this is the rest of my life, because food is part of our joy. It's part
Yes.
of our celebration. It's part of our connection. And so to go from that, and then after finding the right answers and saying, now I can eat anything. And to me, just even that little piece of your story brings so much hope. Because I think a
Hmm.
lot of times as we're talking about, we're going to be talking about gut health. We're going to be talking about how to be more healthy. People zing right to that. Well, that means I should be eating organic. Maybe I should cut out meat. Maybe I should cut out dairy. Maybe I should cut out sugar. And maybe I should just stop enjoying all food altogether and only eat chicken and lettuce for the rest of my life. And for 99.9% of the population, they're just going to say, no, thank you.
Yep.
That is not worth it. So
Yep.
if we can realize that the end of the game is not you're eating chicken and lettuce for the rest of your life so that you can stay upright, it is let's heal our
Mm.
body so that we can eat whatever we want and live joyfully.
Well
So
said.
that is thrilling. So
Mm.
now that you've given this beautiful overview, can you tell us how to get from that point A to point B? How did you find out what the problem was so that it can be solved?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you just hit the nail on the head in saying, let's heal. I talk to women literally every day. This is my job and my career, who find us somehow through podcasts or Instagram or whatever, who come to us with an absolute loss of hope. Because they have been through so many things and it doesn't seem possible to heal. It seems like, well, I guess this is just my new normal. And so, step one on that journey is to recognize that you actually really can heal. Your body is designed to function well. Your body is actually designed to heal yourself. There's no doctor on the planet that can heal you. The only thing a doctor or a nutritionist like myself can do is set you up to allow your body to do what it does best, which is heal, repair. It's what it does. We are brand new humans every 4 months because all of our cells die and become new. So step one on that journey is just choosing to recognize that even if you do feel hopeless with your health and it doesn't feel like there are any answers, that there are answers and we just have to find the right ones. So that's step one. Choose to believe that healing is possible, and then find someone like me or someone in your city who practices functional medicine, and go dig in, because healing really is possible. So that's step one. Step two is to figure out what's going on. So what we do in my practice is anybody who comes to us, we start with what we call a birth till now intake. So we're literally going to look at your whole health history, birth till now. We're going to look at your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your relational health. And we're going to paint this really comprehensive picture of what it was that got you here, because most likely you didn't end up here overnight. It was probably kind of a slow slide down into this place. And so what landed us here, and what do we need to reverse engineer in order to get you out of it? And then we need to understand how your body is processing food right now. So In our practice, we do that with what we call food, mood, poop journal. People laugh every time I say that. They're like, you want me to track my poop? I go, yes, yes, I do. I want you to track your poop because what that tells us is it gives us a really good picture of how your body is processing food, both physically and chemically. What's going in, what's coming out, and then how is your body reacting to that while it's inside you? Gives us a super solid picture of what's happening. And so that points us towards, okay, well, are your adrenals completely overworked and have shut out, which would move us towards adrenal fatigue? Are your hormones completely out of whack because you're getting a migraine right before your cycle starts? So you're getting a migraine when your cycle ends because your estrogen and your progesterone are totally out of whack. Are you reacting to foods that would point us in the direction of gut permeability or leaky gut or SIBO? So the step one is believe that you can heal. Step two is zoom out and look at the whole person. We now know, so stress, chronic stress, cortisol, actually causes your tight gap junctions, which are the protein that holds the cells in your GI lining together, to release. So stress causes leaky gut. So a lot of times people come to us with, like I did, a whole list of food intolerances. They've done all the tests online and they're like, here's the 4 foods I can eat and here's the 85 foods that I can't eat. And I go, okay, give me, 0 to 10. What's your stress on a daily basis? And they go, a 7. I'm like, okay, you're living in a fight or flight state all day, every day, which means you have holes in your gut. So what that means is that your body is food, poop particles and bacteria particles are leaking out into your body. And then your body's freaking out because you shouldn't have food particles and poop particles and bacteria particles floating around in your body. So then you're getting an immune response. That immune response is sending off a 5-alarm fire in your body, which is now spiking your anxiety and spiking your cortisol even higher. And that's a problem. So we need to seal that up. We need to repair your gut lining, but we also need to address these other aspects of your lifestyle that's causing that problem in the first place. That's a lot of me talking, but step one is believe that healing's possible and find someone who can help you. Step two is get to the actual root cause of what's going on. Don't just look for band-aids. Don't look for quick fixes. We want to know the root cause. And then step three is to start addressing that root cause. And that looks a variety of different ways. But if we don't address the root cause, then, if you think about a plant with roots, right, we're just picking off the dead leaves and hoping that helps instead of figuring out why the plant is sick and dying in the first place.
Oh, that was so amazing. And I love hearing a lot of you talking because everything you said was amazing.
Oh.
So some of the things that I picked up and just really enjoyed was you just validating that no one heals us. We heal ourselves. That is our body's job. And I think sometimes we forget that. We think, I am going to a doctor so that they can heal me and make me better. Their job is to make me better. My job is to show up. And it doesn't work that way. Doctors are wonderful in helping us to find out what the problem is so that we can address it. And I love that your practice and the way that you're doing it is let's find the root cause. We're not just addressing symptoms. We are not looking for band-aids. We are looking for the root cause. And then once you take care of that, then all the other things can kind of just dissipate. And I loved how you talked about stress and how stress affects the body. And this is something, again, that not everyone understands. So we have in our autonomic nervous system, and I'm sure you are totally aware of all of the things, but it controls all the parts of our bodies that we don't have to think about. I don't have to think about breathing. I don't have to think about digesting my food. I don't have to think about my immune system. I just don't have to think about it. My body takes care of it. But it has those different branches. It has our just function day to day. We call sometimes rest and digest or parasympathetic dominant. And then we have our turbo boost mode or our survival mode. And that is the stress response. And that turns us into that fight or flight. And it is a good thing. It's designed to save us. It's designed to help us, it just get us out of danger.
Yep.
But the tricky thing is it gets that extra power, that turbo boost, so that we can run away from a bear by turning off or turning down other systems in the body, like digestion. If I need to run away from a bear, it does not matter that I haven't finished digesting that sandwich. We got to put that on hold, get away from the bear, and then we'll take care of it. my immune system. It does not matter that my cut is not healed if I'm running away from a bear. Let's take care of the emergency.
Yep.
The stress response is designed to help us and keep us safe, but it is also designed to be used in short term. Once I've escaped from that
Exactly.
bear, everything else is supposed to calm down. And then my body switches back and says, oh, immune system back on, digestive system back on. But if, like you mentioned with your client, you are stuck in chronic stress all the time, your body thinks you're running from a bear 24/7.
Yes,
And that
exactly.
means that your immune system stays off, your digestive system stays off,
Mm-hmm.
and your body falls apart.
Yep.
And so these kinds of things are so basic to our functioning, and yet most people have no idea.
Yep.
So I appreciate people like you who say, hey, guys, this is not as hard as you think it is. It
Mm-hmm.
really isn't. Let's address the root issue. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
So
Okay,
well
tell me
said.
some more.
Well, I think what's fun, just to tag team off of that conversation, I mean, I couldn't have said that better, right? Like we are designed to spend 1% of our time maybe in fight or flight and 95% of our time in rest and digest. Hunters and gatherers, they go out and they hunt. They hunt once a month, and that's like super high fight or flight, like we're doing the thing. And then they come home and they chill. So we're designed for a 1%, 99% ratio. What I think people don't understand is our modern life is triggers cortisol almost every minute of every day. And so the way that we're designed to live, we are living completely out of balance. And what I think probably people don't understand is they don't understand that the response of you opening your email first thing in the morning on your phone in your bed is the exact same stress response as you running away from that bear, or I like to say saber-toothed tiger. Um,
Okay.
like your body doesn't understand the difference between the stress from that email and the stress from running away from a saber-toothed tiger. Maybe one day we'll adapt to that, but we haven't yet. Our technology has adapted way faster than our bodies can change. And so we now have studies that Instagram spikes cortisol, scrolling through TikTok spikes cortisol, driving spikes cortisol, meetings spike cortisol, being on Zoom spikes cortisol, answering the phone spikes cortisol. I mean, everything that we are doing all day, every day is spiking our cortisol through the roof. And so instead of living 1% running away from that bear and 99% in rest and digest, we are living 99% running away from a saber-toothed tiger, and we are living 1% in rest. Things that bring our cortisol down, like cooking a meal, like putting our feet in the grass, looking at the clouds, going for a non-workout kind of walk. We don't do those things. And so, one of those steps to healing is helping people understand what are all of the things in the day that are spiking your cortisol, and how can we start to adjust that. We live in a modern society. You're going to have to check your email. Most of us work remote, so you're going to have to be on Zoom. Like there are some things that we just can't navigate, but I can pause between every single Zoom call and I can put my body back into rest and digest. And then I can hop on that next Zoom call and then I can do the same thing. And so, sometimes people think about lifestyle changes, having to overhaul my whole life. I have to do everything different. I have to live off the grid and I have to homestead and I have to that's a huge thing now. That's cool if your lifestyle can afford that, but you don't have to do that in order to have a healthy lifestyle that is low stress and is beautiful. You can work remote, you can have an Instagram account, you can look at TikTok without having to be in I need to run away from a saber-toothed tiger spot all day long. So,
Oh,
yeah.
so amazing. And I really appreciated how you gave so many examples of specific things that we do every day that help put us into that fight or flight. Things that we do so instinctively that we don't even recognize that it's having any effect on our physiology.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also appreciate that you gave us some specific action steps that we can do to turn it back into that rest and digest. Simple things like walking in the grass, taking a deep breath, just pausing. So again, our body is not our enemy. Even our stress response is not the enemy. It's just becoming aware. Oh, this is what my body's doing. Oh, all right. Well, then I need to switch that switch back to the relaxation response so that I can get my body back and calmed down. It's not that we can't answer our email. It's just that recognizing, hey, this is affecting me. And this is what I need as kind of an antidote to put me back into that place so that my body is allowed to heal.
Yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love action steps, and you gave us several, and I really appreciate that. So for you, when you were finding all of these things, what kinds of things did you do to help your body to heal, to be able to get, your digestive system back online so that it wasn't in that stress all the time and you can just enjoy again?
Yeah, absolutely. So the number one thing that I did was I created a gut healing protocol for myself, which is now the gut healing protocol that I take all of my clients through. We talk about internal and external stress. So external stress is the stuff that's really obvious. Running kids to soccer practice, you have a job, you maybe have a partner or a spouse, like you got to get dinner on the table, you have to get up and get the kids out the door, like the things that are just really obvious. Okay, that causes a busy life. Internal stress is two things. It's mental stress. So it's the messages that I'm giving myself. I'm not good enough. I got to perform, kind of that busy brain. And then the other side of it, internal stress comes from inflammation. So if your body is chronically inflamed because you have leaky gut or because you're eating food that's causing inflammation, that is also a stress response in your body. It's the same kind of stress response as having the flu. When you have the flu, your body goes, oh no, we have a problem. And it sends every resource that it has to attack that. That's what inflammation is. So for me, healing my gut internally gave me bandwidth to be able to address all the other things. So my own personal journey and what I take my clients through as well, we start with what we call the gut healing protocol, which is 5 steps. We call it the 5 R's. So remove, repair, reinoculate, rebalance, reintroduce. So remove is we're going to remove any food that could possibly cause inflammation. So gluten, dairy, soy, corn, sugar, all of the above, because we want to, if it could be a problem, we want it out so that we can set your body up to heal. I like to think about it like if you accidentally, trip and fall and scrape your arm on the cement, what's step number 1 to heal? Well, it's to stop dragging your arm across the cement, right? Like pick your arm up and brush it off and like give it some space to heal. If you start rubbing sandpaper on that scrape, it's not going to heal. So step 1 is remove. Step 2 is repair. So your gut lining, when I say gut, obviously your gut is everything from your mouth all the way down to where your poop comes out. But when I talk about gut, I'm typically talking about your large intestine, which is where all your colonocytes live. Your large intestine epithelial lining is 1 cell thick. That's insane. The skin under your eyes is about 30 cells thick. So think about how delicate that is. Your GI tract, which is in charge of all of your bacteria and all of your poop and all of your food, is 1 cell thick. The reason that's possible is because you have a mucosal lining that acts like a barrier between what's inside your gut and that gut microbiome and that gut lining. What happens with processed food and with stress and all of these things is that mucosal lining gets broken down. And now you have this 1 cell thick thing it's not hard to imagine how we get holes in it. So step 1 is remove. Step 2 is repair. And so we use a handful of really targeted supplements to help repair that mucosal lining to basically act like a Band-Aid in your gut while that mucosal line or while that gut epithelial lining heals. So if we go back to your arm example, when you scrape your arm, you put a Band-Aid on it. The Band-Aid doesn't make you heal. It just keeps things from getting in it. It keeps things from poking holes in it, and it allows it to heal while it's protected. So that's what we do with your gut epithelial lining in that repair phase. The next step is to reinoculate. Most people who are dealing with chronic fatigue or GI issues or issues that are related to their GI tract, they have way too much bad bacteria. They don't have enough good bacteria. And so we want to get that rebalanced and reinoculated. So we're going to reinoculate the gut with all of the good bacteria. We're going to use prebiotic fiber to feed that good bacteria, which is a step that a lot of people miss. And we're going to help repopulate that gut with good bacteria, good yeast. People think about yeast and they think about candida and they freak out. Just like good and bad bacteria, there's good and bad yeasts, there's good and bad viruses, there's good and bad funguses. The microbiome is the good and the bad. We want more of the good stuff. So we re-inoculate. Then we rebalance. So that rebalance phase is where we zoom out and we look at your whole lifestyle. So we say, okay, what caused you to get here in the first place? Well, you've got a couple relationships in your life that are causing a lot of stress. Let's look at those. Let's look at how we can maybe mitigate those. You've got a job that is you put your face through the window. We're not going to quit your job, but how can we build things in, like go to the bathroom once an hour and take 5 breaths? We can do that. So we want to rebalance the other pieces of your lifestyle that are causing issues. One thing that happens with a lot of women that we work with is they come in and they're doing super hard workouts. We work with a lot of women who want to lose weight. So they're coming in and they're doing HIIT workouts and CrossFit workouts and all of these things because they're trying to lose weight. What they don't realize is that that is taxing their adrenal glands, taxing their whole system. And so they're actually doing the opposite. And as soon as I say, hey, this is actually a real story. I told a client that I wanted her to not go to a workout for a week. And during her workout time, I wanted her to take a nap. And she thought I was psycho. She was like, I'm going to gain like 30 pounds. And I said, okay, cool. If you gain 30 pounds, like we can reverse that. It's going to be fine. Will you just do this as an experiment with me? And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do it. And I said, just try it. Like for one week is not going to kill you. Don't go to a workout, take a nap. She was like, okay, fine. She lost 8 pounds. Yeah. Because she lost 8 pounds
ever.
Yes, Beth, like take a nap. You're going to lose weight because her life was so out of balance. She was working so hard and she was so stressed about losing this weight. And all of her workouts were like way more than she needed. And so we just backed that off. And then, like she still does CrossFit now, but we've built in some Pilates and we've built in walking and she does CrossFit 2 days a week, not 6 days a week. So that's the rebalance phase is we're going to look at your whole life. We're going to rebalance it. And then the really fun part is we reintroduce. So reintroduce is we're going to start reintroducing all of the foods that we took out. We're going to do it in a really strategic order so that we start with the least likely to cause an issue and we go up to the most likely to cause an issue. And 9 times out of 10, none of those foods cause issues. Every once in a while, we'll hit something where like, okay, someone maybe doesn't do great with gluten, but they're okay with everything else. And that's the process. So that's what I did was that 5R process. And then I didn't overhaul my life, but I built in what I call micro moments. So I was still teaching at the time when I figured this out for myself. I made my 4th graders once an hour put their heads down on their desks for 2 minutes and I turned the lights out and I made everybody breathe. And this was for me, but it was also for my 4th graders. And we just once an hour, we took a 2-minute, like bring our systems back down break. During my lunch break, I started going and eating outside so I could get sunshine on my skin and put my feet on the ground and get some grounding. Before I went home from work, I would go take a quick walk. There's a little lake in between where I worked and home. And so I would go take a 10-minute walk around that lake. I switched the light bulbs in my house from white lights to red lights so that when it got dark, my metabolism could start shutting down. My melatonin could start kicking in. And I started going to bed about an hour earlier. And that's all I did. It's not drastic, but to some people it feels drastic because it's so counterintuitive. Like, oh my gosh, you stopped once an hour to breathe. Like, yeah, I stopped once an hour to breathe. Yeah. So the 5 R's: remove, repair, reinoculate, rebalance, reintroduce, and then micro lifestyle changes that make a massive macro difference.
That was so incredible. Listening as you describe all of these things. So I'm just going back to the beginning of our conversation. We're talking about gut health. People panic. That means you're going to take away all the things that I want to eat. That means you're going to do all these restrictive things. That means you're going to ask me to do more. And I'm already overwhelmed and I don't want to do any more. I'm overwhelmed right now. And that's where a lot of people are. And as you walk through these steps, it feels so doable. In fact, in the example that you gave, where it's don't go to the gym, take a nap. And that, I can't, 8 pounds in a week is phenomenal weight loss. I mean, anyone would just be thrilled with that kind of results. And I loved how you brought up that the solutions are counterintuitive. Our
Mhm.
society, many, many times we get this impression that if I want bigger results, I've got to do more. I've
Yeah.
got to work harder. I've got to do more. And sometimes the answer is no, we need to do smart. And
Yeah.
sometimes smart is we need to do less.
Yep. Yep.
So what a hopeful message. This is absolutely incredible. So, Hallie, how do people reach you? I mean, of course, I'm going to include the website, but is that just where they go? Just go to your website and they'll find you?
Yeah, our website, if you want to talk to us, we do free consults. And I'm really intentional about making sure that you get to the right place. So if we can't help you, I will find someone who can. So our website, you can go there, you can book a consult straight on there. We have a contact form. You can reach out to us. We'll get back to you immediately, usually about 24 hours if it's a weekend. So livenourishcoaching.com, www.livenourishhed coaching.com. And then we're also on Instagram and on TikTok. So you can find us at Live Nourished Coaching. And just to tell you one more funny story to close. So the whole idea that, the solutions are often counterintuitive. We had a woman probably 6 months ago come to us with serious hormone imbalances. She was in her 40s. She'd had two kids. She had migraines every time she had a cycle. She'd gained 30 pounds in the last 3 months without changing anything. And she came to us, she's like, I don't know what to do. And we said, okay. We looked at what she was doing. She was doing super hard workouts. She was calorie restricting. And so I told her, and I was like, I want you to double your calories. And I want half of your calories to come from fat. And again, she freaked out. She was like, what? Like, no, I eat fat-free everything. I work out really hard. And I was like, I want you to walk. You've been eating 1,600 calories. I want you to eat twice that. And I want half of it to come from fat. So half of your calories are going to come from avocados and olive oil and olives and full fat cottage cheese and full fat yogurt and full fat raw milk and full fat cheese. And I mean, understandably, she completely freaked out. She was like, I can't do that. Like, I'm going to be 300 pounds. And I was like, just trust me. She's like, okay. So she did for 1 month. She followed my instructions and we gave her meal plans and we gave her a ton of support. In 4 months of doing that, her menstrual cycles regulated. So instead of having super awful, horrible, heavy, painful periods, she started having normal periods that didn't have cramps. She lost 15 of those 30 pounds in that first 3 months. And we got the second 15 pounds off in the next 6 months. And she thought I was crazy because I told her to eat more calories and to have most of it come from fat. But those are the things that we've got to just set our bodies up to heal. And when we set our bodies up, then they heal. And it's really cool.
Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? Our bodies are designed to heal themselves.
Yep. We just
And
got to
when it
give them the
comes
building
down to
blocks.
it, no matter who we go to for help, the common denominator is still my body. My body has to do the healing. If I can give it the right protocol, the right nutrients, the right whatever it takes, then my body can relax. And sometimes when we do that extra, and our body is in this stress mode, we can even just go, our body thinks, oh my gosh, I'm starving. I have to conserve every single thing that I have because I don't
Yeah.
know when the next meal is coming. And when you start to give your body what it needs, it says, oh, you're going to feed me? Oh, okay. Well, then I can relax a little bit here and I can do something else because I'm not worried about survival. Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing. I
Well said.
loved this. Holly,
Thank you.
thank you. Is there anything else you just want to make sure that we cover before we close?
Oh man. I mean, I'd probably just go back to the beginning and just remind you if you're listening to this and you have lost some hope with your health and you feel like maybe there aren't answers, there are answers. There is hope even in the most hopeless situation. There is hope even if you've seen 7 doctors and gotten no results. So hold on to hope. Come see us at Live Nourished Coaching, book a consult with us, find someone in your local community. There's hope. So if you're feeling hopeless right now, just walk away with a nugget of hope and give us a call or give someone in your community a call.
Oh, thank you, Hallie. That was I love bringing more hope to the world. I love it. I love it. And I love that there is hope, that it's not a false hope. This is real. People, this
Mhm.
is real. There's real answers out there, and that is huge. So, Hally, thank you.
Amen. Linda, thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Delightful. In closing, I'd like to share a quote by Nancy Muir. She said, "If there's one thing to know about the human body, it's this. The human body has a ringmaster. This ringmaster controls your digestion, your immunity, your brain, your weight, your health, and even your happiness. This ringmaster is the gut." Today, I invite our listeners to improve their health and happiness by improving our gut health. See you next time on Linda's Corner. Thanks for listening. Please share and subscribe to help us reach new listeners. And if you'd like to heal your life from the inside out, there is a free video series at hopeforhealingfoundation.org. Just click on the Free Stuff tab. I also invite you to grab a copy of one of my books, like Crushed, A Journey Through Depression, and You Got This, an action plan to calm fear, anxiety, worry, and stress. See you next time on Linda's Corner.